Cruise news: Carnival is sending an urgent warning to all passengers, reminding you of the dangers of online cruise ship tips, tricks, hacks, and secrets. While many of them may be extremely helpful in enhancing your vacation experience this summer, some of them can get you in a lot of trouble, one of which we'll talk about in this video. Also, in a quick update, a fire has taken place on board an MSC cruise ship. So, I don't know about you fine folk, but I absolutely love the internet. It contains a boatload of helpful information and knowledge, especially when it comes to cruising, at least when I'm not entertaining myself with peer runner videos. Tips, tricks, hacks, secrets are all available to you online these days to give you a better experience during your cruise. Whether you want to stay more organized, get the most out of your trip, get some free drinks, and of course save some money, the information's there for you. However, you have to be careful with the information that you are getting off of the internet, because while some are extremely helpful, they're free, and it does enhance your experience overall, there are some secrets out there that you might do on the cruise ship that are wrong and illegal. For today's video, we have a classic case of self-snitching, people tattletelling on themselves, which appears to be pretty common these days on the internet for whatever reason. A couple on TikTok thought they were going to, I guess, give some knowledge, some advice on cruising. Lo and behold, they ended up telling their personal experience, and they were breaking the rules doing it. They ended up getting caught by Carnival Cruise Line. Now they had to face the consequences. Typically, if you break rules on board of a cruise ship, usually you're going to have three possibilities happen to you. You're going to face fines, you're going to get kicked off at the next port, or you're going to be banned for life. Or realistically, all three could happen. They should add a fourth, where if you do something bad enough, you should have to go ahead and walk the plank, banned to the Shadow Realm. Anyway, this entire conundrum and lesson to be learned here involves cruise ship balconies. We all know a very popular spot to hang out at. Some things happen on balconies from time to time, some adult-like things, and some things that are frowned upon and even illegal. Carnival has come out and talked about things like putting your bathing suit on the edge of the balcony to dry. It's bad because should the wind blow and it gets knocked over, now you are, of course, destroying the environment. You got to think about all of the wildlife in the ocean, the fish, the tuna, all the lobsters. However, all of that aside, something that you should never ever do on your balcony, and also happens to be illegal, is smoke. There was a couple on TikTok that was, I guess, giving tips and essentially bragging that they were able to give their room steward, the person taking care of their room, $50, and he brought them an ashtray and didn't say a word about them smoking on the balcony the entire cruise. For starters, room stewards are typically pretty friendly on board cruise ships. However, you have to be pretty bold to have that conversation and expect it to go so well. Hi, my name is Fred. Here's $50. I'm gonna smoke a Cohiba every now and then during this cruise, and you're not gonna say anything about it. Oh yeah, and bring me an ashtray too while you're at it. When it comes to this hack, trick, whatever you want to call it, the ambassador of Carnival Cruise Line, John Hill, did chime in, stating he worked on Carnival ships for years. He seriously doubts that a crew member is willing to risk his or her entire livelihood, how they make their money, how they feed their family, all for $50. I agree. I don't think that a crew member is typically willing to do such a thing. Even if they did, it's still wrong on so many levels. Let's say a crew member does agree to this and the neighbor next door or a couple doors down in another cabin calls customer service. You end up facing fines, you're kicked off, you're banned. They're going to look at that room steward too, and they're potentially going to lose their job because you want to smoke on your balcony and you're going to justify it by giving them $50. To conclude here, there is nothing wrong with playing the money game on board cruise ships. I encourage people all the time. There are two people that you realistically want to look out for on the first day of the cruise with a little bit of extra dough. That is your room steward. Give them a nice tip at the beginning of the cruise. Show them that you mean business. Maybe you can get an extra pillow or a comforter or what have you. Also, find your favorite spot to go get a drink. Find your favorite bartender or two. Tip them $20. They'll never forget your name. They'll prioritize you. And there is a good chance at some point during the cruise they may give you an extra drink or two. However, paying for a potential fire hazard that could inevitably affect everybody on board with their lives, it's just simply not a good idea. Don't do it. And by the way, speaking of fire, let's go ahead and get into our next story. Yesterday on June 10th, while in Italy, the MSC Armonia unfortunately ended up catching fire. Thankfully, it wasn't a huge fire. It took place in the laundry facility on board, one that is not available to the passengers. The MSC Armonia is an older ship launched in 2001, holds 26 passengers at full capacity. The fire was electrical and started at approximately 6:30 a.m. as the ship was heading into Venice, Italy. At the time of the early morning fire, the alarms didn't sound, the passengers didn't have to go up and go to their muster stations in the event of a potential evacuation, and the fire team on board was able to extinguish it pretty quickly. When the ship arrived to its port of call, over 100 firefighters went to the MSC Armonia to check on all of the passengers and crew to make sure nobody suffered smoke inhalation or was injured. Obviously, the biggest risk to any cruise ship is, of course, a cruise ship fire, either that or an iceberg. I'm joking. But seriously, when you're on board a cruise, be vigilant and do not tamper with any electronics whatsoever. And even more importantly, don't smoke on the balconies. That is what I have for today's news. Of course, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit that like button on your way out. Subscribe if you haven't already. And as usual, I love and appreciate every single one of you. I'll see you later. Take it easy.